Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers says his budget plan will include a proposal to legalize recreational marijuana. Evers says the measure could generate $166 million in revenue that would be used to help fund rural schools and programs for marginalized communities. Wisconsin is among a minority of states that have not legalized marijuana in some form, despite recent state polling showing more than half surveyed support it. Republicans are expected to block the proposal. The Wisconsin state primary is just over a week away. We're going to see some pretty big races on the ballot February 16th. And joining us live this morning is UW-La Crosse Assistant Political Professor of Politics, Anthony Chergosky, to help break things down. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, Jen.
So I would like to start off talking about Mayor Tim Cabot, who ran unopposed in the last mayoral race. That was in 2017. Not the case this time around. There are 10 candidates that voters are going to have to choose from. What do you think that says about the interest in the mayoral race?
Well, Jen, I think it represents the fact that this is a really important position, like the CEO of the city government of La Crosse. And so there's broad interest among a number of candidates in running for this position. And that should cue us in as voters that we should pay careful attention to this position, because what happens in local government has such a direct effect on our daily lives, arguably more of a direct effect than what happens in national government. So it's just super, super critical, Jen, for people to learn about these 10 candidates. I know it's a lot of candidates, but to learn about them and then to get out and vote in this upcoming primary.
You've mentioned when we've talked to you about this before, and you just said again, and critically important, but that that crazy things can happen when you have this many candidates on the ballot. Can you talk more about that and how it could be a recipe for disaster?
Jen, I mean, 10 candidates, if you have very low voter turnout, this election could be decided by 10, 20, 30, 40 votes. And when you split up a small number of votes among a large number of people, some goofy and wacky and random stuff can happen. So the best possible thing that people in La Crosse can do is have high voter turnout. When more people participate, that will help ensure that the best possible candidates go on to the final two and go head to head.
So we saw, speaking of voter turnout, 88% voter turnout in the November election. Obviously, we're not going to see that for this election, but what do you think we'll see? And following that, what would you like to see?
I just desperately want high voter turnout, Jen, because like I said, a large field of candidates and small voter turnout, that's such a bad combination. It's just a recipe for weird and random things to decide the election. So I'm hoping for high voter turnout. We're not going to get to that 88% mark that we saw in November. But this, for the people in La Crosse, this election is just too important for you to sit out. I just urge you to vote, urge you to learn about these candidates, to watch the interviews that'll be on News 8 Now this week, to go online and learn about these candidates. What happens in local elections directly affects you. This election is too important for people to stay home.
Anthony, you moderated a debate last week with several of the candidates. How do you feel like there's a big difference in a lot of them?
They certainly do differ in their experience, Jen. Some offer experience in business, others offer experience in government, some a combination of the two. And I think that highlights why voters really do need to learn about these candidates. There is not going to be a political party label next to these candidates. You're not going to go to the polls and see, well, this candidate's a Democrat, this candidate's a Republican. There's not going to be that party label. What kind of experience do you want in a mayor of La Crosse? That's going to be important for voters to think about as they determine who they want to support in this upcoming election.
Anthony, we only have about 30 seconds left, but I didn't want to leave without talking about the state superintendent of public instruction race, because that is a statewide position. Everybody's going to be voting on that. And what are we going to see there? There's a lot of candidates in that pool as well.
Oh, yeah, 7 candidates. I mean, it's like everyone is running for office this time around, Jen. 7
Right.
candidates in this race. So, again, no party label, no political party label next to the candidates. It's on the voters to get educated about these candidates for the top education official in the state of Wisconsin.
All right, Anthony, we appreciate you joining us always, and we'll look forward to talking with you down the road about the results of this primary coming up. Thank you.